Hi, welcome back to Sunfire Woods Off-Grid Homestead. I'm Carrie. Thanks for joining in. Today we are not on Sunfire Woods, our property. We are not off-grid. And in fact, today is just an update to yesterday's update. Just to give you a little tour of what I have accomplished. This is officially a maternity ward. There we go. We've got fresh bedding down. All looking so much better. And there's a load of the old stuff that is actually going up to Sunfire Woods. It was cut off in the video yesterday, but all of that lumber, the bark is going to go into a hugelkultur pile in our garden up there. I am determined to have some really good quality soil that will retain moisture, and hugelkultur is a means to do that. You put the bark or wood or logs at the very bottom of your pile, and then you put it up, pile it up with some good stuff like straw or hay, compost, and then you dig right into it and you grow right into it. And it's just this hill of goodness. And the wood, the logs, the bark that you put at the very bottom are a means of retaining moisture. That way you don't have to water nearly as much. And being off-grid without any direct water source, we'll have to haul water in. That's actually a good thing, to be able to retain as much moisture as possible in our garden. So while I've got a little bit more time, I was running out of time last night. The sun was going down on me. I wanted to get the clean out finished. So while I've got a little bit more time now, I figured I could come over here and properly introduce you to my boys. These boys have not been up at Kuz We Kan Farms except for Maverick, just for a little bit to try to do the deed with Cheba. Didn't work out, and I'm happy about that. This, the brown guy, is Boomer. He is a Mancha. If you notice, he doesn't have any of the traditional ear flaps, where Maverick here does. Maverick is a Kiko. So what we ended up doing, like I say, I had Maverick trying to cover and get Cheba pregnant for about a week up at Kuz We Kan Farms. Didn't work out. He was still a little too young to know what to do, which is fine, because I ended up having Cheba artificially inseminated on February 25th. So hopefully that'll be a good thing, because I learned much later after I got Cheba that she is from a very special bloodline. As a La Mancha, it's, if I recall, the breed is about 40 years old here in the United States. And one of the ladies that helped bring and develop the line, her name was Barbara Backus out of California. Her herd was called Quixote. Oddly enough, the man of La Mancha, Don Quixote. So Cheba is actually one of Barbara's last babies that she'd had before she passed away. Barbara is no longer with us, so the lineage, the bloodline is thinning out. It's going away. So I want to try to be able to contribute to preserving that bloodline as much as I can. I found the needle in the haystack of semen from a Quixote buck, directly from Barbara Backus. And so I was able to, and like I say, it was a needle in the haystack trying to find a straw or straws of semen. But I found it, and it was about an hour away, and we got the deed done. She was inseminated with Quixote genetics. Oops, sorry. She was inseminated with Quixote genetics. And yes, if you're in North Idaho, you're going to be near a train. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're just about a quarter mile away from the train tracks. here on this property. On ours, we're significantly further. Can't really hear it as much. I'm looking forward to being able to escape that. So let me flip this around. If you see, this is the rental property that we are on. This front pasture, if I were to guess, is probably about 3 acres. And when we first moved here, there were cattle on the property. Oops, sorry. There were cattle on the property. There were, if I had to remember, 8 to 10 head of cattle. They have since been moved on to the butcher and into freezers. But this itself is also a 20-acre property. And that's where I've been keeping my boys and my girls. At one point, all of my goats have been in this particular building. And in that side, what I'm calling the maternity ward now. So what fascinates me about this property is the landlady is in her 70s. She grew up here. Her parents built every building on the property. So that used to be, or that is currently now, that building right there is used as family storage room. There's a whole lot of stuff from many decades stored in there. And beyond that little snippet, that's actually the farmhouse that we are renting. We got really lucky when we first bought our property. When we first bought our property, we were living on our property in tents. We bought in late July, and then the car accident happened. Life happened, as I've shared with you in the first video. We couldn't get it done. And those of you who have seen Miss Darla on Kuz We Kan farms, she's a very sweet lady. And this is how we know everybody. Or we know Darla and Randy, Heather, Kimmy, Kira, Marty, Julie, Martin Johnson, Off Grid Living. We all attend the same church. So this is how we know each other. And Miss Darla, bless her heart, she's a lovely, beautiful soul. She pulled out the mama bear on us, on my husband and myself. You cannot stay up here on this property during winter time. It's going to be brutal. You can't do it in tents. I love her. I truly love her. She put down her foot, pulled the mama card on us, and that's how we ended up with this place. She was right. We would not have been able to do well in tents on our property. It was just too cold. The snow was too heavy. And last year's snow was pretty light. Last winter. Sorry, 2 winters ago. 20 into 21 winter. And it was, I'm so very grateful to Mama Darla for making sure that we're taken care of. And it was I don't know if it was happenstance. I don't want to call it happenstance. It was a blessing, because the current market is fully saturated. You can't buy anything within a decent price as far as a house. Rentals, as soon as they go on the market, they're gone. They're taken up. And everything is just priced way astronomically out of sight. So we had a post office box at the time. I was stopping into the post office to pick up our mail, and there was a notice saying house for rent, 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and firewood available. Firewood goes with the house. So we called the lady, and 3 days later we had the keys. The landlady, where we are now, and so this is how we ended up on this 20-acre farm. It's no longer a fully functioning farm. At one time it did have cattle, it did have horses. There are chickens here, there are a couple of rabbits here. That's the extent of the critters that are farm animals, other than my goats. And my landlady was so sweet to allow me to have my goats and to set up an outside pen. And I'll take you over here and I'll show you. I've got the Mancha girls. Just a quick peek in here. It's kind of a mess because of all the work I've been doing, but this is the feed room. And you hear the girls. This is the feed room. I need to get some more hay up here. Plenty of straw for bedding. Yes, girls, I hear you. And here's my Mancha girls. This is Layla right here. These girls have all been up at Heather, Kimmy, and Kira's at Kuz We Kan Farms. There's Penelope. You're hiding, Miss Cheba. And there's Cheba. There we go. I've got the girls. And these girls will remain separate from Monarch and Ruby. I'll also bring Ruby. Because Cheba has, in her old age, become kind of a bossy hag. She's been a bully. And I need to make sure that she's not going to headbutt Monarch and her babies. So the Mancha girls will stay over here, while Ruby and Monarch will have her babies over in that pen on that side, over here. And they'll stay here until we can move up to our property. And just a quick peek. I am so very fascinated by all the building structures here. From what I understand, this is called a Swedish log style building. And I am learning a lot from being able to observe these buildings, study them, because I will be taking a lot of what I see here up to ours. Now, initially I'm not going to be building a log building, but I might end up building a log structure with goaty goats. And again, this is a 20-acre, it's a beautiful, beautiful property, well developed. And like I say, this is just a 3-acre, if I were to guess, I'd say a 3, possibly a 4-acre pasture of a 20-acre property that keeps going up that way into the tree line back there. And that little cabin is where our landlady lives. It's a little one-room cabin, and it suits her just fine. Like I say, she did grow up in the house up there, and it's been in the family for 75 plus years, and it's just absolutely beautiful. In fact, you know what? Let me show you. Yeah, just every stick of lumber used in building grew on this property. And there's the hayloft where I got all those straw bales that are up on my place now that will be going on the garden. At one time it was good hay, but it's been up there, I've been told, for at least a decade up in this hayloft. So I wouldn't feed it to my crew, but absolutely use it in the garden for mulch or into the hugelkultur. Well, guys, I apologize for the shaky little bit of camera work. I'm still a novice and I still haven't learned any editing yet, but it'll come, hopefully, at some point. So again, thanks for joining. Be blessed, stay awesome, and have a joyful day.